for the Ride or Dynasty podcast. Let's go!
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a fast-running back. Man, Ryan, I just got home from happy hour with a couple of my colleagues. And if I may, I would like to quote Willie Nelson. There are more old drunks than there are old doctors, so I guess we'd better have another round. How are you doing this evening, Ryan?
You know, I was just doing okay, but now that I'm here, I'm absolutely fantastic.
Oh, man, I am in such a mood to talk about fantasy football and the combine. You know, the guys I was with tonight, we had some good conversations, but then they were talking about hockey, and they lost me, and all I wanted to do was talk about the NFL draft. So I was so looking forward to getting home, jumping on the pod with you, and talking about who's rising and who's falling after the combine. Now, I have to make a statement, Ryan, and I know it's not going to be popular with you, but okay. I do not believe that the combine really should change your mind about a player. You put in the time watching them on tape, you do the research. You know, I think the combine should either confirm what you believed or show you that maybe you were a little bit off. But I think I'm being a little bit hypocritical because I think that says that it can change my mind. Right? Is that what I just said?
A little bit, yeah. But I see what you're getting at, though. I don't completely disagree, to be honest. I look at the combine more as one of those things that you actually get to see these guys competing next to each other. For the first time. So it's a great way to see, just to compare straight across. And a lot of times rankings will get jumbled up. Like, for example, Denzel Mims. I had him around like the 18 area in the wide receivers. And that's not because I didn't like Denzel Mims. I just, I didn't know where to put him in that pecking order. But after the combine, I'm like, okay, no, he's definitely a top 10 receiver.
Yeah, I do agree. You know, something that I actually shared on our Slack channel, you know, Kent Platt is doing this great work with the RAS, the relative athletic scores. I know you were messing around with the data that he combines and puts out these great cards that really just takes all of the participants in the combine and rates them per their performance against each other. So you're able to see who is the most athletic tackle, who is the most like athletic running back across the board. And, you know, and some guys do jump out, like you were saying, that I didn't necessarily pay attention to. Somebody like Ezra Cleveland, an offensive tackle out of Boise State, who I wasn't really aware of outside of the big five offensive tackles. But, you know, he came out and put up, according to Kent Platt, 9.93, which is amazing.
That's
out of 10 for an offensive tackle. He ran a 4.93. Had a 30-inch vertical, a 9.3 broad jump. Across the board, 6'6", 311, good arm length. You know, it's interesting just to see these guys who might not get the airtime on major channels and just see them showing up, like you said, and comparing them across the board to their peers. You know, taking that into account, who are your risers based on what we saw this weekend?
Well, I'm going to start things off with Devy Debrief alum, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He was phenomenal at the combine. 99th percentile in the vertical broad jump categories, 4.48 40. He looked good in the catching drills. And so basically what the combine did for me with him is confirm what I saw, which is an incredibly explosive athlete with a ton of potential, but he was held back by playing on a bad team with a bad offense. Or, well, Michigan, the team was good, but the offense wasn't. I guess I should clarify better. So, yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones is definitely rising. Another one that has probably already risen, but I'm going to talk about anyway because I've been doing it for a year now, almost, is Justin Jefferson.
You love Justin Jefferson, man.
He is my absolute favorite, like, quote-unquote discovery. As far as I'm aware of, I was the first one in the fantasy community to talk about him, and now everybody knows who he is. And he's top 5, 10 on everybody's boards now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, before the combine, he was getting some first-round draft buzz, but now the cat's completely out of the bag. He ran a faster 40 time than Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Reagor. He looked great in all the drills after that. Which, again, just confirmed what I saw on film, which is that Jefferson is a big-time wide receiver. He's going to be good at the next level. And I actually just released a mock draft today, and I have him going 22nd overall to Buffalo. I think he would be great for Josh Allen. He just has this uncanny ability to be where the quarterback needs him to be at all times. And
yeah, that would be helpful with Josh Allen.
Absolutely. So I think Justin Jefferson would be a great fit in Buffalo, and I don't really see him dropping much farther past that in April.
Yeah, well, going back to your first guy, my 70s funk band, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Power to the People. Yeah, I'm just looking at his scores. I mean, 44.5-inch vertical, 11-foot 7-inch broad jump. I mean, that's the 1%. That's, as Bernie Sanders would say, that's the 1% of the 1%. With my horrible political impression. But, yeah, I mean, that's amazing, his explosion. Especially for being a guy with solid size, solid weight, and solid speed.
Yeah, he's going to absolutely be a better pro than he was a college player.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think he's... Oh, go on.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I think he secured himself a second-round draft grade. I don't think he gets out of the second round.
Well, I mean, that draft grade, not the draft grade, but the draft stock is so important to what we look for in fantasy drafts. So I'm hoping he goes in day 1 or 2. One of the people that, I was very high on, he was my number 1 running back coming in. So I was very excited to see Jonathan Taylor put up a 4.39. That was faster than I thought he was going to run. I knew he was fast, but I wasn't expecting that fast. But he came out, put up great stats, great numbers across the board. His vert was solid, broad jump, short shuttle, everything was just, it was right where it needed to be. And he was faster than I thought. So I have seen across the board Jonathan Taylor move to that number 1 position for rookie running backs. So there's a situation where, I know Eric and I were the 2 in our crew who had him as number 1, but it sort of confirmed, which is nice, what we thought he was.
So what would your ideal landing spot for Jonathan Taylor be?
Oh, man, I haven't even given this a thought. You look at the dream landing spot, someplace with a great offensive line, with an aging running back or a lack of running back. Kansas City is always, where you want to see somebody land. Mm-hmm. Mark Ingram's getting older. I could only imagine what Jonathan Taylor could do behind that Baltimore offensive line.
Ooh, that'd be a good one too.
But it's really hard because Jonathan Taylor might easily fall to the second round. Only because people don't value running backs as much anymore. So, I don't know. Where do you have him going in your mock draft? I didn't get a chance to look at it yet.
I have him mocked to the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, that's tasty. That's tasty. I'd like that.
High-powered offense. What's his Devonta Freeman is going to be on his way out. There's going to be a lot of carries available.
Yeah, and Brian Hill and Ito Smith haven't shown that they can carry the load at all. That would be a great landing spot, especially with the improvements to the offensive line, which should be, they had some injuries there last year, but yeah, I like that a lot. Who else do you have that rose this year in the combine?
Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's going to get out of the second round, actually. He had one of the best performances on QBs this year at the Combine. He showed NFL-level arm strength, I think. He was very accurate. I was actually surprised at how accurate he was. And elite athleticism for the position. He's just a gamer. He's an absolute gamer. He's a winner. He has not lost many games, and he's a leader that the team is going to rally around too, if he's given the opportunity to start in the NFL. I really believe that Jalen Hurts can be a starting quarterback, and an effective one at that. And his performance in Indianapolis confirmed that. I think he just has it. And
now, do you have him going in the second round, do you think?
Yeah, it might have been a little high, but I have him mocked to the Carolina Panthers at 38.
Oh, okay.
They'll put a little bit of pressure on Cam Newton. Is he going to be the same player next year? Who knows? He certainly didn't look like it early in 2019 before he got put on the IR again.
Well, and the Carolina Panthers sent out that letter to their season ticket holders, basically signaling that they're in a rebuild. So, drafting a good young quarterback in the second round is a great option for them.
Yeah, and he has Christian McCaffrey as a safety valve, and DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Ian Thomas.
That almost sounds like Baltimore 2.0.
A little bit. I don't know. It could happen.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the head coach to make it work, but it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Another guy who really stood out to me, and I have to admit it's because I'm a little bit biased, because I picked him up in a Devy League 2 years ago. So, just cards on the table. I'm biased about him, but AJ Dillon, holy moly.
Yeah,
that's
really
a big
me.
dude, and he was trucking at 4.53. That is ridiculous. Do you know what his vertical jump was?
Wasn't it around 40?
41 inches.
That's insane. For somebody that size.
He's 247, 250, 6 foot.
Yeah, somebody that big.
I'm not saying he is going to be Derrick Henry. Of course, I'm not a big fan of Derrick Henry, but for somebody who is being written off as not having a role in an NFL offense, I think the Combine showed that he does have a role. And I think he definitely worked himself into at least a day 2 pick. Right? Second or third round? What are you thinking?
I was thinking third or fourth round. But yeah, I could see him being a day 2 pick. After the show he put on, yeah. The traits are definitely impressive. And they're probably going to be enticing for a team out there looking for, even if he's just a 2-down baner. You got a guy that can grind out between the tackles like that, wear down a defense. That's a valuable piece of your offense right there.
I think I'd rather have A.J. Dillon than Jordan Howard at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, and at the very least, I hope to hype him up so I can trade him. But don't tell anybody in my league that. All right, who else do you have as a riser?
Riser. This one's not really a riser for us, but because he's been in our top 10 for a while now. But Cole McDonald.
Hawaii.
Suddenly he's in everybody's top 10 quarterback rankings. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that we're pioneers here at Rider Dynasty in scouting him. So I don't think he's going to be a starter in the NFL, but I think he'll be a solid backup, and he can win some games in spot duty, I think.
Yeah, shockingly, we were talking about him last summer.
Yeah.
You brought him up, and of course, we kind of Eric went a little bit crazy, right? Because he had the other Hawaii quarterback that he was in love with. I can't think of the name. Oh yeah, it was Colt Brennan. And wasn't the head coach of Hawaii or the offensive coordinator? He's now coaching in the XFL.
June Jones.
No, not June Jones. The coordinator who went to USC. I'll think of it. Before the end of this episode. All right. So that's all I had. Another guy who I was very excited to see perform was the offensive tackle out of Louisville, Mekhi Becton. Sorry. As a chunky fellow myself, Mekhi's not chunky. He's 6'7", 364. He's running a 5'1".
Yeah.
That dude looked amazing. Watching him run his drills. So impressive. I'm just excited watching all of the offensive tackles perform, that the Jets will definitely have a choice of offensive tackles when they pick in this draft in the first round.
Yeah, I actually have Tristan Wirfs going to the Jets.
I'll take him.
All right. Yeah,
I'll take him.
Because I don't think Becton's going to be there at 11.
That's fine. I had Wirfs ranked ahead of Becton, and I think Becton's performance might have pushed him ahead of Wirfs. So,
yeah, I think he's going to be a New York Giant.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think he's a good scheme fit there. He's going to.
You never know with Gettleman, though.
Yeah, he might pull.
He might take a defensive tackle, another run stopper. Old school football.
That'd be something. I'd definitely be shocked.
Yeah, me too.
All
right, man. So who are your fallers?
I'm going to start out with one that was kind of just more of a disappointment for me, which is T. Higgins. Because I'm already kind of on the fence with him as it is. So I was really looking forward to seeing him perform at the Combine to see, all right, am I right? Am I wrong? And he sat out everything. So to me, that's throwing up red flags. Is it did he think he was going to test badly? Does he know he was going to run a slow 40? I can't think of the guy's name. He got drafted by the Vikings. Laquan Treadwell. Like a Laquan Treadwell kind of 40 time. I don't know. So I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see T. Higgins at the Combine. I think it was April 9th is his pro day, so we'll find out then. But for now, he's falling down my draft board at least.
Yeah, I have to agree. Same thing with Tyler Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
Tyler Johnson had. He came out. He had another great year after not coming out in the draft last year. He put up, great stats again, but, he sits out the Combine. He doesn't run the 40. I don't know. I like competitors. I like guys who want to show up and show what they do best. And if you aren't willing to show what you do best, and you don't necessarily have the film, I don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know it's not it takes place in Indianapolis, but not Missouri, but it's a show me state, right? Show me what you can do, buddy.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily those guys have solid film to fall back on.
Right.
But yeah, it was still both of those guys falling down my draft board. Another one that I was pretty high on a couple weeks ago, Jake Fromm. He didn't look very good at the combine. He was slow in the 40, didn't test well athletically. He was off. He was inconsistent in the throwing drills, and I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was trying to show like, oh, hey, look at me, I have the arm strength. But if I'm Jake Fromm, I want to go out there and show everybody that, look, having a Justin Herbert type of arm isn't my game. It's accuracy and timing and poise and all of that stuff going on, and I don't think he did that effectively.
No, I mean, looking at Kent Platt's RAS, he put up a 2.61 out of 10.
That's not great.
I mean, he ran a 5.1, 40. He just didn't show up at all athletically. And I know people argue about this all the time, but he has less than 9-inch span on his hands.
Right.
And I know there's so much argument in the draft community, but really, the smaller your hands, the worse you are. Like,
I think
it affects you. It affects you.
Yeah.
And that's tiny.
Now, that said, Joe Burrow also has fairly small hands. He came in at 9 inches.
Yeah, I know. That made me look twice at him. Tell me I'm an idiot, though, for that. It did. But tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I like what he said in response to it, though. He's like, he's like, I didn't have fumbling problems in college. So
yeah, but he also didn't face the same pressure as he will in the NFL.
True enough. He did face the closest thing to it, though, SEC competition.
That is true. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Yeah, and I don't want to say anything about Burrow because I really like what I saw with him, but that did concern me a bit.
Yeah, and I need him to be the star quarterback everyone is hoping he'll be for the sake of my
because you have
team.
Because you have a 1-1.
I have the 1-1.
In a super flex, I know. So much based upon so much what we base our observations are cemented in, do we have any shares of them? And will we be getting any shares of the player?
Yeah, I think that's true. It shouldn't be, but it really is. Like, if I go get a guy, I'm gonna defend my selection of him.
Yeah.
Even if
well, that's just natural. We've been talking about that in my English classes. That you defend what you have, you stick in the herd. It's a natural reaction, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Anybody else who fell for you?
No, not really. The guys that I wasn't very high on pretty much stayed there. And it was more risers than anything. Other players that impressed me, I mentioned Denzel Mims earlier, Chase Claypool from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He actually had a perfect 10 in that on that
the RAS.
The RAS, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was incredibly impressive. He was drawing comparisons. Excuse me, to Calvin Johnson the next day, and I was like, okay, that's a little blasphemous, but I get it. The size speed combination, it's rare. I think he might have put himself in the possibly late day one conversation.
Okay.
Possibly. I don't have him that high personally, just because I wasn't that high on him before. But If there's a team out there that loves what they saw and sees him as like an Evan Ingram type that they can play inside, out, wide, just kind of a utility vertical threat receiver.
Right.
I could see him being a late first round pick.
Okay. Fair enough. So in other NFL news, just looking quickly at the headlines, I know Jason Peters is going to test the free agent market for the Eagles. Do you think he has anything left?
Yeah, he might have another good year left in him. He can go, if nothing else, he can go mentor a young tackle.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Jets sign him. We were talking about him tonight when I was out with my buddies. Trent Williams is going to be allowed to seek a trade. I just saw that Clowney is interested in going to the Giants.
Well, I mean, luckily Seattle gave up nothing to get him. So if he walks, it's kind of like whatever. I mean, it hurts,
and he didn't really. But... Yeah, it's not like he really performed well while he was there.
Right.
I mean, he was all right.
He was good, but he wasn't great.
Yeah, not enough to bring back. What about Brady?
Tom Brady.
Where do you think Brady's going to end up?
I don't know. Like when I'm driving to my classes, I listen to ESPN radio and
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, wow, it's pretty bad. But yeah, if you listen to those guys, Tom Brady's going to go everywhere. He's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. He's going to be a San Francisco 49er. He's going to be a Tennessee Titan. A Las Vegas Raider. I don't know. I could see him going to the Raiders. I think that would be But then again, I don't think they want to give up on Derek Carr. Like, he's still pretty young. He was good last year. He didn't have any weapons. Like, I mean, Tyrell Williams, he's okay. Darren Waller. Darren Waller can't be your number one receiver. And
No. So I just took a bet tonight. The bet was $20 with two different guys that Brady would become either a 49er or a Titan. And they bet that he would remain a Patriot. So what do you think is more likely to happen? That he goes to the 49ers or Titans? Or that he stays a Patriot?
I'd say it's more likely he just stays a Patriot.
Go! I can't lose $40. Let him go to the Raiders. Then at least we break even.
But out of San Francisco or Tennessee, I could see him going to Tennessee. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo just got the 49ers to the Super Bowl. And
lost them the Super Bowl.
And lost them the Super Bowl, but I mean, he's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't be looking at replacing my 28-year-old franchise quarterback with a 43-year-old Tom Brady.
Yeah, the thing that always strikes me is that everybody thinks they have a window in which to win a Super Bowl. There is no window. You have like a year, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, teams are like, oh, we made it. We still have a couple years. It's over. It's over. Maybe the 49ers will be great again next year. I'm sorry. It's over. You're not getting back. You're not going to win it. If you get to that game, you have to win it. The chances of you getting back are slim to none.
That's true.
So I don't know. You make every move you make should be to get back and win that game the first time you're there, because you probably won't do it again. I don't know. I wouldn't know because I'm a New York Jets fan and you're a Detroit Lions fan. So I've never even sniffed a Super Bowl. Yeah. Actually, that's not true. I've sniffed it a couple times in the past few. You haven't.
No.
It's been a long time since you were even close to one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I was alive yet.
Yeah, I might have been back with those Scott Mitchell teams with Sanders, that Herman Moore. Those were some good teams, but they didn't. They might have made the playoffs, but they didn't get close.
Yeah, I was gonna say around that time I was a baby.
Shut up.
91, 92.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was in high school. But, Ryan, thank you. Thank you for delivering me from the stupid hockey talk that was happening during my happy hour tonight, making it an unhappy hour. I'm glad to talk NFL with you.
Always a pleasure.
And, I am so excited. My Future Fantasy Leaders of America Club is starting back up next week.
That's awesome.
I got about 10 kids already. More are joining. We're looking forward to discussing the draft. They actually reached out to me to get it going again this spring before the draft. So I'm very excited, but
that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. So if you're listening to this, give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a review. Follow us on RiderDynasty.com. We're a couple of guys who love talking about fantasy football. We live, breathe. We live and breathe it. We love fantasy football. We love Dynasty football. My man, the Dynasty Dirtbag, on the other side of this microphone, he loves Devy and does all the research. I've been hitting him up all week as I enter a startup draft with some Devy positions available. So, give us a follow, man. Give us a listen. Stay tuned. Let your friends know. Ryan, do you have anything to say to our dedicated riders?
Catch you in the next one.
All right, brothers. You have a great night. Boat drinks, my friends. Boat drinks.
We ride together. We die together. Bad boys for life.